I was commissioned into the Indian Navy in 1985, and a lot of young people are sitting here. And 1985 means nothing to you actually. It was a long time ago, so it is 41 years back. Yeah, time flies. So just make sure that you make use of every single day. Having said that, I'm also aware that I was to come in the morning for the morning session, but some pressing commitments precluded that. But एक बार commitment कर दी तो फिर dash. And therefore I had to come for the valedictory function. I'm privileged to be standing here. I'm grateful to the President of India Foundation, Dr. Ram Madhavji, His Excellency Ambassador of Japan, and of course our Secretary East, former Shri Jaideep Majumdarji, and more importantly all of you ladies and gentlemen for being here. I am aware it has been a long day and you are just waiting for me to finish and say thank you, and then you can go home or have a cup of tea. So, but just bear with me for few minutes when it has been few hours, I'm sure. So give me that. Thank you very much. As I said, it is a pleasure to be standing here and to speak on this very, very important topic of Indo-Japan cooperation in the Indo-Pacific. And this is especially so because we will be celebrating the 75th year of our diplomatic relationship next year. And for all the young people who are the millennials who are born in the 21st century, actually the relationship was just taken off in this 21st century. And courtesy the two great leaders, I don't have to name them, I'm sure the ambassador is aware of his leader and we are aware of our leader. Many of the things which has been discussed today during the course and what even I will be discussing have been made possible largely because of the personal bond which was there between the two leaders, and therefore it percolated to the population of two countries. I was in Japan last year, and it was wonderful to interact with all strata of leadership, as also see what Japan has done. Just to give you one trivia, Japan has been running the bullet trains since 1961 or 1962, and fingers firmly crossed, they have had 0% of accidents till now. Touch wood. So that is the level of technology, and that is the level of resilience which is there in the system. And certainly we have to learn, and that is how these events like this certainly help in that regard. Also, I'm sure you are aware, all those who have traveled to Japan, that if a train is to arrive at a station at 0532, it will come at 0532, give or take few seconds. So that is the kind of importance which is there, of time which is there in that society. It was eye-opening for me certainly, and I learned a lot. As I said, I want to thank Dr. Ram Madhavji for inviting me for this important deliberation, and my compliments to the India Foundation for arranging this. I am aware that you keep doing many of these at various places. I have been getting invited for a certain number of such functions, but because of the nature of the job and the constant travel, etc., I have not been able to, but thank God I am here today. I've also been told that over the course of today's conference, the deliberations have reflected the complexities and uncertainties of the multiplex world that is we inhabit today. And what does it mean is the one that is undergoing a profound strategic inflection. In fact, I call it a strategic inflection decade. You give and take 2 years from 2020, whether it is pre-COVID, with post-COVID, the 10 years, we may be in the midst of that inflection decade, and a lot of things are happening. I'm sure all of you are aware. Some of it must have been discussed. Some was, I think, brought out by His Excellency. Where the long-established Westphalian values and norms face erosion, and transactionalism is challenging the assumptions that predicated strategic behavior. In this context, as most of you had discussed during the course, I have been told the Indo-Pacific has emerged as the principal theater of what analysts call normative contestation, where the established norms and orders are being challenged due to competing visions and interests. As a result, the contours of the entire spectrum, that is competition, that is cooperation, that is even conflict, are undergoing significant shifts. I'm told that many of the speakers and panelists did talk about critical minerals and rare earths also during the course of discussion, and it is increasingly clear that the competition today is no longer limited to the traditional resources for oil and energy, but resources that underpin future economic growth, and which goes even up to the seabed. As a result, we are seeing a sharp rise in marine survey activity and deep sea research within the region. Increasingly, vessels engaged in these operations often opt to go dark, with AIS switched off or spoofed or manipulated, and intrude into littoral EEZs or sensitive maritime zones, violating established rules and norms. These are indeed the emerging flashpoints in the region. Beyond resources, the region is witnessing intense competition for information. Recent disruptions in the Red Sea impacted up to 25% of Asia-Europe data flow, highlighting the fragility of the digital commons, where undersea cables and associated infrastructure have become critical choke points. That is rivaling the traditional maritime choke points, which we are now seeing, hearing, watching every single day. Yet, even as competition intensifies, cooperation within the Indo-Pacific is also adapting. The cooperation in the region till now was mainly anchored in a dense and evolving network of multilateral constructs, such as ASEAN, such as the Western Pacific Naval Symposium, and of course, the Indian Ocean Rim Association, amongst many others. However, it was pointed out, I believe, during one of the deliberations today, that cooperation cannot be judged by the strength of language alone, but by their collective action. And as a result, we are seeing the rise of mini-lateralism within broader multilateral frameworks through flexible arrangements that bring together like-minded states around specific sub-regional and local problems rather than having rigid blocks. Maritime military cooperation in the region too is undergoing a structural shift from episodic engagement to persistent presence by regional navies as well as extra-regional navies. The panel discussion reiterated that the capability brought by the cooperative engagement between the navies would remain critical to ensuring freedom of navigation and adherence to rules in the region. At the same time, increasing military geometry in the region also increases the risk of miscalculation, escalating into a conflict, reinforcing what Clausewitz said that enduring insight that the war is, above all, a realm of fog, friction, and uncertainty. Now add to this another complexity which stood out during the deliberations to the day of modern technology lowering the threshold for disruption. Drones, uncrewed systems, and maneuvering mines, etc., now threaten critical choke points such as the Straits of Hormuz, even without a formal announcement of blockade. For energy importing nations like Japan and India, which import about 95% and 80% plus of our energy respectively, through these global commons, the fallout of any such disruption is both immediate and far-reaching, and which we are witnessing as we speak. Beyond kinetic effects, non-kinetic threats such as maritime cyber attacks have doubled in 2025. Further, things like GPS spoofing and denial of satellite services have caused vessels to even run aground and disrupted commercial operations without a single shot being fired. Taken together, these shifting contours of competition, cooperation, and conflict underscore that the Indo-Pacific remains the world's most vibrant yet volatile theater. As one of the panel discussions brought out, while the agencies such as the United Nations may have become the last port of call in crisis, I still don't believe, UNCLOS will continue to provide a foundational framework for predictable rule-based behavior at sea. Similarly, the enduring vision of free and open Indo-Pacific and Mahasagar continue to guide cooperation and shaping behavior across the region and even beyond. So there is hope. Guided by these visions, our two maritime nations, India and Japan, have been at the forefront, literally and figuratively, at the forefront of promoting security and stability at sea, not only by their shared intent, but increasingly by shared action. As Excellency Mr. Onokichi also called the two nations, I think, in the morning, action-oriented partners. That is, I fully concur with that. Such words have found operational convergence in the Gulf of Aden and adjoining waters, where our navies have operated for more than 15 years together. Our joint exercises such as Malabar, GIMEX, which we have now named it JIMEX, and Milan in the maritime domain, as well as Dharma Guardian on land, and Veer Guardian and Shinyu, Maitri in the air domain, have been consistently expanding in both scale and sophistication to address challenges across the spectrum of operations. We are also working together to further strengthen information sharing arrangements to enhance maritime domain awareness across the Indo-Pacific. These combined efforts are reinforced through platforms such as the Indo-Indian Ocean Naval Symposium, that is the IONS, Indo-Pacific Platform for Maritime Domain Awareness, that is IPMDA, and our own IFC-IOR, which contribute directly to maritime security, capacity building, HADR, and the promotion of a rule-based order at sea. Notwithstanding these existing convergences, as Dr. Ram Madhav said during his inaugural address, that taking this partnership forward requires a continuous rethinking of approaches aligned with the evolving realities of the Indo-Pacific. In that context, today's deliberations have indeed thrown forward multiple lines of efforts of extreme relevance. One constant theme seemed to have stood out in these recommendations is that the real strength of our partnership and future convergence may lie in what they call complementarity, rooted in the enduring logic by the author Adam Smith that distinct capabilities, when aligned, create the greater collective strength. We, India, with nearly 2.5 million STEM graduates added annually, and one of the world's fastest growing startup ecosystem, brings scale, brings talent, and brings market depth. On the other hand, Japan, with its global leadership in high-tech manufacturing, precision engineering, and capital investment, brings technological depth, quality, and experience. Together, these complementarities could provide a powerful foundation to shape maritime capability and resilience across the Indo-Pacific along three clear lines of effort. First is the industrial cooperation and resilience. The deliberations today pointed out that both sides need to enhance further their industrial engagement towards economic security, resilient supply lines, and cooperation in critical minerals. Within this framework, India's push for Atmanirbharta in defense manufacturing, combined with Japan's expertise in high-quality shipbuilding and system integration, opens avenues for co-development and co-production across naval and commercial maritime scenes. As Ambassador Kechi also mentioned, co-development of the advanced Unicorn mast for our Navy is a step in the right direction. Further opportunity lies in taking such collaboration into critical domains such as marine propulsion, advanced weapons, and next-generation sensors. Second is the emerging technologies which have been widely spoken about. Collaboration in areas such as autonomous systems, AI, and quantum technologies should not only enhance operational effectiveness, but must also focus on positioning responsible nations such as India and Japan as key stakeholders in shaping norms and governance frameworks in these domains. And third is strengthening the expansion and resilience of infrastructure. As the deliberation suggested, there exists a significant scope for enhancing cooperation in the field of connectivity across both physical and digital domains. In the physical realm, this includes maritime ports, transport corridors, and climate-resilient infrastructure. At the same time, both sides can work together to strengthen the protection of critical undersea infrastructure and enhance the cyber resilience of the maritime sector, not only for the two nations, but also for all in the region. So, ladies and gentlemen, to conclude, as they say in Japan, Mirai wa Tomoni Kiju Kareru. I hope I'm okay. Not too bad. Which for all of us means the future is built together. This very closely resonates with our own Indian ethos of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. That is, the world is one family. I'm certain that India and Japan, our partnership will grow by leaps and bounds in the years to come, becoming a centerpiece of promoting stability and security in the Indo-Pacific. I've exercised with the Japanese Navy. I have been to Japan. I've hosted Japanese personnel when I was whichever capacity. So I'm aware of the avenues and opportunities which are there, and I have no doubt that the Indo-Japanese partnership is going to just go up to several layers up. With this, I would once again like to thank Dr. Ram Mathurji and the India Foundation for giving me this opportunity. Thank you. Jai Hind. Arigato gozaimasu.